wanted to retouch on the topic of leads, type of leads, the thought process behind leads. Welcome back to the insurance panel. Didn't give me too much of a warning, guys. I just got back from the field. I put on my hat today. COVID-19's got my hair all messed up. So I threw on a hat. I'm actually at my younger brother's house. We did a day of door knocking, and crazy enough, we did it on aged leads.
Ooh, good times.
And yeah, and kind of what we wanted to talk about today. I know we never really say exactly what we're going to talk about. We just have a general idea. We wanted to retouch on the topic of leads, type of leads, the thought process behind leads. I think it's an important section. So
yeah, leads are a big deal, especially right now. People are all over the place with their leads that they're using, and some people are back in the field, some people are working on the phone, some people are. It's crazy time in the world today, so it seems like a good time to touch on this.
Yeah. Direct mail leads. Let's just go ahead and knock those out.
Sure. Buy them.
Yes. Done. All right. Now to the next. But no, seriously, I want to make sure I go over the thought process that goes into a client's mind.
Yeah.
When they're signing a direct mail card, or not even, some of them don't even sign it. They just put their information on it. They did handwriting. But you got to think, they walk to their mailbox.
Right.
They look at their mailbox and decide, and they like kind of flip through it. They put it on the top. They walk in, and then the majority of their mail goes, if you're walking to a senior's house, look to the left. There's a little end table. That's where the majority of the junk mail goes. That's where the majority of the leads that you're sending out goes. Okay. The ones that make it back, they're sitting in their recliner. They're sitting with their husband and wife or whoever it is. And they put it in between the two of them. And then they're watching a TV show and they see a commercial about state regulated life insurance programs, blah, blah, blah. They call the number. They find out it's not really $9.95 a month. And they go,
right.
I'm done with that crap. Okay. But then 2 weeks goes by. They're talking about it. There was a funeral. Somebody died, right? They got a letter from their other insurance company that their premiums are going up or something like that. And then they see that card again. And they look at it with their husband and wife, and they say, what do you think about this? And they fill it out. And then they walk back to their mailbox. They put up the little flag. And that's how, and then it goes back to the company. They scan it in, send it to you or whatever, and then it comes to you. So there's nothing that a senior citizen can tell me that they don't want it, because there's so much thought process that goes into that.
I mean, just getting to the point where they open the mail, right? So like I moved into my house a little over a year ago. We moved in here shortly before we started doing this show. So a year and a half ago or something like that. I still get mortgage protection leads in the mail to this day. I get several every week. And when I first moved in, I was getting a flood of them. I opened the first one because I didn't know what it was. It was just a thing in an envelope. I was opening stuff up. Saw, oh, okay, that's a mortgage protection lead. Threw it away. And now when the mail comes in, those don't even make it inside my house. They go into the trash can as I walk through the door. Like I go get the mail. I like, okay, this is all the leads and junk. Boom, in the trash with the catalogs and all the crap that I don't want. I never even open them up.
Right.
Because I'm not in the market for that sort of thing. I have no interest in that sort of thing. The stuff that I open is stuff that I'm interested in. And every now and then, a mortgage protection lead doesn't trick me, but sometimes advertising tricks me and I open it. Usually then that also gets thrown away. Unless I actually am interested in whatever they're selling. And if I'm interested in whatever they're selling, then maybe I take action. Now, I'm never going to fill out a lead and mail it back to anybody. That's not who I am. That's probably not who you are, Matt.
No.
That's probably not who most of the people who are watching this are.
No.
But it is who final expense prospects are.
And it's the 1% of people that fill out cards.
Yes. And we had Dusty on the show a little while ago, and he's talking about how he always wants to talk to those 99% of people that don't fill out cards. I am the opposite. I know my people. I know the people that I talk to, and I want to talk to the type of person who's going to look at something that comes to them in the mail and say, that seems like a good idea. Fill it out, stick it in the mail, send it on back.
Right.
I want that person. That's who I want as a client. That is the easy sale. That is the person who is going to be most interested in talking to me. That's the person I have to work the least hard to convince to even let me have a meeting with them.
Right.
That's who I want. That's an ideal prospect for me.
Right.
The other thing about direct mail, though, is, like I said, I'm still getting those mortgage protection lead cards. And it's been like almost 18 months since we've lived in this new place. Mm-hmm. And if I'm getting those mortgage protection lead cards, I guarantee you every final expense prospect, every person who's final expense age is getting those same direct mail cards every single week in the mail.
Yes.
And they are sending in most of them. They're not sending in yours and then nothing else. And there are many people that I hear that get really like, well, is it really an exclusive lead? They're talking to all these other people. They're sending in all these other cards. Here's the upside of them sending in lots of cards. I was talking to somebody earlier today who was saying, hey, I've got an agent who doesn't want to go work their leads because they have leads from before the pandemic. And they never touched them. They're in their inventory. They're untouched. Mm-hmm. But they're from February. They're from early March, uncalled. And he said to me, what do you think? Would you treat those the same as brand new leads? And I said, yeah, those are new leads. I sometimes on my direct mail, I only get 25 leads a week. But I'm on a set price lead program. So the leads come in, mm-hmm. They come in however many come in. And then the lead company just holds them for me until I'm ready to get my next set of 25. Sometimes I'm getting leads because I hit an area that's really saturated. I got leads in February this year that were mailed back in September. Doesn't matter. I don't care.
Right.
I wrote $40,000 in January off of leads that were mailed back in August. No big deal. They don't go bad. They don't go stale. This is the beauty of direct mail leads. And it's a combination of those factors. It's, they're sending in multiple cards. They've done it before. They've probably talked to an agent before. They know what to expect for the most part. 98% of everybody who sends back a direct mail card knows what to expect when they send mm-hmm. back a card. And it takes effort for them to decide, hey, I'm going to go find a pen. It's going to have ink in it. I'm going to write on this card my name and my spouse's name and my age and my phone number. Walk it out to my mailbox and stick it out there to mail back. You will not get a more qualified lead than that. You're just never going to get a more qualified lead.
Right.
Doesn't exist.
I agree. People try to recreate it in that way. And, I'm testing something where it's like a hybrid of a Facebook and a direct mail lead, but still nothing works better than the thought process that goes behind a direct mail lead.
Yeah.
It's just like, so let me, yeah. I want to say this again, and I've said this maybe once before, but I view it's the 1% of people that fill out a card. Mm-hmm. So it's like you, Nick, who is a crazy person and calls Papa John's or a local pizza place and says, hey, I want a pizza, but instead of regular marinara sauce, I want peanut butter as a sauce. And I want gumballs and sardines on my pizza, right? Mm. That's a pretty crazy request, right?
It's a heck of a pizza.
Right. But the delivery guy shows up to your house and knocks on your door and says, hey, I got this pizza that you wanted. And then you look at me and go, I don't want it. Yeah, you do. You ordered the pizza. I'm bringing you the pizza. There's nothing you can tell me at this point that you don't want it because
you
ordered it. Like, I'm going to get it to you now.
And you call us up and order this pizza every single week.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Because that's the other thing is you've done this before.
Right.
And there are people who are watching this who are new and who haven't done this for very long, who are going to say, well, my people are different. Where I live, these people haven't gotten these direct mail lead cards before. The people that I see, they've never filled out a card before. None of them know that this is about life insurance. None of them know what I'm coming there about. They think I'm here from the government to give them something free. That may be what they tell you, but it is universally a lie.
Yes.
But, just is.
They hope it is free.
Yep.
They know it is not free.
Yeah. And if you talk to them about it a little bit, like I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're actually trying to make the sale. But if it's just to satisfy your own curiosity and you figure like your sale's blown anyway, talk to them. Find out why they thought it was free. If somebody tells you, hey, I thought this was free, have a conversation with them about whether or not they really thought it was free. I guarantee you, if you stop and talk to them about whether or not they really thought it was free, they will say at some point, oh, I knew none of this stuff is free. Nothing here is free. I knew this. I was being scammed. Promise. They'll say it.
Yep.
Now, it's not a great conversation to have if you want to make a sale. But
right. It's hard to go back and it's not free. So, but it's
you don't want to argue with people, right? Like you don't want to get into a combative
But at least
situation.
try that one time to realize that when people fill out cards for direct mail, they want something.
Yeah.
They want it. They want you. They want to know whatever it is. They want to know what it's about. They want to know how much it costs. They know it's not free. They know the government is not giving them anything for free. They've been here for 82 years. They haven't gotten a whole lot of stuff for free. It's not like they've filled out multiple cards. Multiple people have came by their house. Multiple people have called them, try to set an appointment. All those things have happened before. Mm-hmm. You're not the first person that came by.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's going to happen. But going back to age direct mail, because some agents, start on a lower budget. Mm-hmm. They get some age direct mail. And they get but I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. They think it's something different. It's not. Mm-hmm. It's
if it's an unworked lead, and so here's the thing you have to be careful of with aged leads. There are some places that sell aged leads where they are not unworked leads. They'll sell an aged lead that an agent has hammered to death, but they just never made a sale, or they'll sell an aged lead to 2 or 3 different people at the same time.
Right.
And those exist, and you need to know an unworked lead is different from a lead that's been worked, mm-hmm. even if they're filling out multiple cards. Mm-hmm. Because if an agent who knew what they were doing got this card and beat this person up, they're not as good a prospect anymore. Right. As somebody who has not talked to an agent in a very long time. Yes. Or whatever.
I've worked an age direct mail lead where the person was like, you're the 15th person that's came out here recently.
Right.
Please stop.
Right. And that's, again, those still work. You can still sell those people.
Yes.
But you're going to get beat up a little bit more. It's a harder, and the name of the game for me is always to work the least amount with the most profit. Right.
Right.
To play that balancing game of, how do I have to burn the fewest calories in order to make the most money?
But I've also worked age direct mail today, okay? Mm-hmm. And my younger brother was like, I've never door knocked with you. We've always set appointments because I wanted to teach him the right way to do it. Mm-hmm. # appointment setting. Yeah. But he was like, can you really door knock? I said, dude, watch this. We knock on the first door. I didn't even have the lead card. There's no lead. Mm-hmm. And I turned around. I didn't even know what the guy's name was. I knocked on the door. I said, James, what's the guy's name? And he said, Boyd. And sure as donuts, the guy opens up the door and I go, hey, Boyd. And I walked in. And he shook my hand. He goes, come on in. What are you guys here about? I said, well, you fit out a card about the state-regulated life insurance programs. He goes, maybe I did. I don't know. But it sounds like you're here at the right time. Let's go over my benefits.
Mm-hmm. And right?
Yeah.
Right. That's how it works. And so for things like that, and I don't know if your aged leads were unworked or if they were worked aged leads. And the biggest difference between worked and unworked aged leads, if you know whether or not they're worked or unworked, is how much they should cost you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're buying a previously worked lead, that should be dramatically less expensive because you're going to get a little bit more beat up.
Sure.
But yeah, if there's really no difference. Like if I run dry on leads, and I've had this happen, like every now and then stuff happens with my lead vendor. I don't get leads for a week or two from my lead vendor. It's frustrating. I don't like it, but it happens. But
Sure.
I've been doing this long enough now. I have all of my leads going back to 2014. Like I have all of them
Mm-hmm.
separated by county. So I'm like, well, this is where I'm going to be. Let me find some leads in the area that I was recently so I can do a little bit of service work, pull out those old leads, call those people that I'd never gotten in touch with, knock on their doors. It works just fine. They're like brand new.
Yep.
There's nothing.
Yeah. The beauty of having your own like set of like direct mail coming in is each week that you continue to do it, it grows your pile bigger and bigger. So like the first week you've got 25 leads. Sure, you might be able to get 15. You might be able to set 15 or whatever. But then every week after that, it just gets easier to set the same amount of appointments because the ones that you never got in touch with, the ones that never bought from you or whatever, it just adds to your pile. And each time you go out there, you've got more and more people to see.
Yeah. You just have more people to talk to.
Yeah. Have your own inventory of your own age direct mail, but nobody knows that direct mail piece better than you if you've worked it.
Yeah.
You know how many times you've called it. You know,
exactly.
Door knocked. You know everything about that lead.
And this is also why it's really important for you to, if you are buying new direct mail, to make sure that you are buying it from a company that will not turn it into an aged lead and resell it to somebody else in the future.
Yes.
And again, I can't tell you who those people are because they don't always tell you. But when you talk to your lead vendors, make sure, is this an exclusive lead? Do I have a time limit on how long I have to work on this lead? Will this be my lead forever and ever and ever? Amen. Right. Because frankly, a lot of the aged leads that you go out and buy are leads that were sold to another agent and sat around for 90 days. And then the agent either didn't sell them or did sell them, and it doesn't matter. And the vendor turned around and resold the lead a second time.
Yes.
More lead vendors do that than don't. So
done. Yeah. Anyways, that's direct mail.
Yeah.
What are Facebook leads? Let's talk about Facebook leads. I actually have with one of the vendors, Ward S. Hey Ward.
Hey. I know Ward. Hey Ward.
Yeah. Ward's a great dude. He sounds like a great guy. Down in Florida, right?
Yeah, down in Florida. Orlando area, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going over Facebook in depth with him. He was one of the winners from our previous thing. So I got a call with him on Tuesday. We're going to do a deep dive on digital marketing for filing expense leads.
Nice.
It's going to be great.
Nice. I believe Ward's a watch guy. You guys should talk about watches too.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah,
I like that. But let's talk about Facebook leads. Okay. Yeah. The same thought process, okay, that goes into a direct mail lead is not the same. It's not. Facebook and the other one that we're going to talk about soon is here it is. Do you want it? Yes or no?
Right.
It is like a carnival game.
That's a really good analogy. I really like that.
Yeah. Write that down. It's like a carnival game to where it's like you're walking by with your wife or your kid and they see the big duck, right?
Yeah. No,
and they're
exactly
like,
what it's like.
It's like, do you want this? Yes or no? It's you got to hit this pin or whatever to win this prize. Like, do you want it? Yes or no? Like, and then if you pass by that, if you scroll past it, you probably won't see it for a while, but you're going to see another carnival game and another carnival game and another carnival game. And eventually you're going to see enough carnival games where you're like, fine, I'll throw some money at it. If they're most leads, they've got it set out to where it's all on Facebook where they fill out the form. They click learn more, get quote. It auto-populates their information on the form for them. Because believe it or not, guys, Facebook has all the information on you already.
Not always accurate, but yes.
Not always accurate. And when you get those leads that are inaccurate, you'll know it'll be a bad phone number, bad address, whatever. But that's okay. And that's one of the problems is you get bad
data.
Bad data.
birthdays I find are the things that are bad most often. Like
Really?
inaccurate birthdays more than anything.
Mine has always been the phone number has been the bad one.
Bad phone number. It's harder for me to tell if it's really a bad phone number, if it's just a phone number that's got like unknown calls blocked.
Yeah.
You know, but you're right. No, I get a bunch that have non-working phone numbers, or the number's been changed, or that person doesn't live here anymore.
Yeah.
But if I actually get the person on the phone, I find that the birthday is frequently wrong. Like,
right. But I want to go back to the thought process. So when they fill it out, it's so quick. It is boom, more information. They don't really read the description of what it's about. I promise you, they don't. They put in their information, they hit submit, and then all of a sudden it says, thanks, if you got your information, click here to either call or go back to Facebook. And you're like, whatever, I'm going to go back to Facebook. Do you remember the type of prize that you would win that I just talked about from the carnival game?
Nope.
It was a duck.
Oh, it was a duck. It was a duck.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly
no
my
clue.
point. So when I asked that question, even though it just happened, you forgot.
I wasn't paying that much of attention, and I was paying attention.
Exactly my point.
Right.
So when people are scrolling through Facebook, it's a mindless activity. And so when senior citizens are doing it, it's even more of a mindless activity. They see it, they fill it out, and then they go back to what they were doing. They don't remember what it's about most of the time.
Right. A big objection that you will hear when you talk to Facebook leads, more when you talk to purchased Facebook leads than when you talk to your own self-generated Facebook leads. But a big thing that you will hear a lot is, I didn't think I was submitting my information. I thought that I clicked on the button to find out more, and then I turned around and said I didn't want to do that. And I went back out. And you get the lead anyway, because they still clicked the submit button. You know, and that doesn't mean they don't want to talk to you. And if you're there face to face and you've got an address and you're sitting in front of them, you can still probably get in that door because they were interested enough to click the button to find out what this was. A little tougher on the phone. Sure. More experienced phone salespeople than me can probably make that work. I cannot. That is dead in the water for me every time.
Hashtag Bearcat.
Yep, right. But that's dead in the water for me every time. But if you're generating your own Facebook leads, there are things that you can do to make that less likely to be the case, that you'll hear that less. But you'll still get it. I mean, you get that with direct mail also, right? You get that. I didn't do that.
Yeah. And so Facebook lead vendors knew this, and they're like, we've got a genius idea. We're going to ask their favorite hobby, and that's going to make sure they remember exactly what it's about.
Everybody asks their favorite hobby, and it doesn't really help.
Doesn't. And guys, for the people that the 300 or 400 people that might be watching this, ask what their favorite TV show is. Ask what their favorite candy bar is.
Or don't ask a security question. Facebook has just recently changed, and because I'm deep in Facebook right now. Facebook's just recently changed how they do this. They now ask the security question first. It's the first thing that pops up before it gets to the rest of their stuff. And so people who are asking those security questions, it is increasing the cost of their leads. Now, I don't know if it's giving you a better lead, though. I'm not sure that it does give you a better lead.
How many times realistically, when you said, hey, your favorite hobby is badminton, they're like, oh, absolutely, I remember all about that. Or do they go, what is this about again?
Right. Or like I used to get, when I would do telemarketed leads, I used to get telemarketed leads with a security question where they'd say, what's your favorite color? And so then they would provide the favorite color, and I'd call them up and say, hey, you talked to so-and-so from our office the other day about the final expense programs. They had you ask you what your favorite color is. You said it was blue. Remember that? Yeah, sometimes. And a lot of times they go, what the hell are you talking about? Click.
Right. That's the other thing. We'll go back. We could switch in between. I mean, telemarketing Facebook leads to me are kind of the same thing.
Sorta, a little bit. You have more quality control with Facebook, but they provide a similar type of, like, the downsides of Facebook leads seem to be the same as the downsides of telemarketed leads. You get more sick people, you get more slightly crazy people, you get more people who are kicking tires. I don't know if you get this. I've been getting a surprising number of people, and I used to get this on telemarketed leads too, a surprising number of people who are not looking for insurance for themselves, but are looking to buy insurance for a family member or a loved one. I've been getting a lot of that recently.
Yeah,
Um,
I have gotten that on Facebook recently.
you know,
Now that you say it.
like I've gotten a lot of people being like, I call them up and they're like, yeah, so I don't want life insurance, but my brother needs life insurance real bad. Well, are you going to be paying for this for him? Yeah, probably. Okay, great. We can have a conversation, but I need to talk to your brother at some point because you can't take life insurance out on your brother without him knowing. Or like I've been getting could just be weird random clusters of stuff, random events cluster randomly, but it has been something I've been getting a lot recently, and I've
Now that
never gotten on a direct mail lead card ever.
yeah, now that you say it, like I've had it actually happen recently. I think I said it on one of our recent videos, like where I think it was when we had Dusty on. I can't remember. But I was talking about doing telesales, and like the guy called for his wife that had dementia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember you telling that story.
Yeah, like, but he didn't want to buy anything. He didn't have finances, but he didn't have anything saved up. It was just like,
Yeah.
what are you doing, dude? So
Yeah.
it does happen. Tire kickers, people that are just filling out, they're just habitual form people that fill out forms.
Because remember, again, you're scrolling through Facebook, you click a thing, you click another thing, you move on. Like, it's way easier to do that than it is open up your mail, read your mail, say, that's a good idea. Go find a pen that works, fill it out, stick it back in an envelope, seal the envelope, walk back out to your mailbox. Like, it's so much easier to just kind of be scroll, 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 scroll. Click, click, click. Yeah, okay. Scroll, 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 scroll.
Right. And then the other problem that like Facebook lead vendors tried to solve, right, are saying, well, we'll just pull it out of Facebook and go into a type form, or we're going to a Google Doc to make them fill out the forms there.
Sure.
Because then miraculously it becomes a long form where they have to fill it out.
Right.
Right. That's the big sell.
Right.
But I told this to Ward the other day. I said, it's not that much different, because how many of us have Chrome, Firefox, or Safari on our phones?
Yeah.
Right? All that information that you put in one time is now saved. So when you click the button, it auto-populates for you.
A lot of the time, yeah.
It's not that much different.
Yeah. It's a little bit higher intent, a little bit, because at least then they've gone to another place, and then they were like, oh, I went to this place, and if they back out, you're not going to get the lead anyway.
Right.
They do then have to go through a thing, and you could set it up so that there's like multiple pages before they can hit submit. You can up the effort a little bit.
Sure.
But it's going to drive your lead cost up a lot. And I don't know how much better a lead it's getting you, realistically. A little bit, maybe a little bit, but it's not getting you.
But for those that are making your own leads, just test it out. Like, what's the harm? You spend a couple $100, it doesn't work, and you make one sale off of it, and you pay for your lead cost, and you learn something.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty easy thing to do. To like, what is it? Wix is free, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You can set these up pretty easily. If you've got an email address that you're using for business, you should have a domain associated with that anyway. So go buy a domain, name it after your business, have yourself a professional looking email address, associate it with a landing page.
You could do it on a Google Docs page.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Can you put a pixel on a Google Docs page?
I don't know.
Yeah. You want to make sure you have a Facebook pixel on there so that Facebook can learn who's submitting leads and who's not.
Yep.
But there's stuff you can do. Talk to Matt. I'm not the Facebook guru.
Talk to Nick. He's Facebook guru now. But yes, that's the same thing with telemarketing. Okay, you gotta remember, they've watched TV a long time, they've seen it, and then all of a sudden someone calls from probably out of the States, and they say, "Hey, this is Nick with Senior Benefits.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to talk to you about the new state-regulated life insurance programs. Do you want more information?" And that person didn't really hear what they said, so they, when someone says, "Did you want this? Did you want that?"
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time people say, "Yeah," because that's what they've kind of been conformed to do. Okay, we need your name, verify your name, your address, your phone number. For security purposes, give us your favorite color. Cool. Our agent will call you back in a few days.
Yeah.
Sounds great to me. Click. They went on the thing. That phone call took 2 minutes or probably less, probably a minute. They don't remember that.
Right. Like, today is Friday. We're recording on a Friday. It'll go up probably next Friday. We're going to go back to a once a week schedule. Um, Matt, who did you talk to on the phone Monday at 12:30? Did you have a phone call Monday at 12:30?
Don't know.
Did you have any phone calls, meetings in particular on Monday?
Probably.
Right? Could you tell me what your schedule was on Monday and who you talked to?
I mean, if I could look back, yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
you can't look back. I'm
No,
on the
no, I
phone with you
couldn't.
right now.
No,
Right.
I couldn't.
How about Wednesday? Could you tell me what your schedule looked like Wednesday?
Busy.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Can you name any specific phone calls that you had? Like right now, no looking, just.
Yes, I could name a few. Yes.
Okay.
Talk to my brother. Talk to
There you go.
people. That's
Anybody like that was not a personal friend that you can remember specifically?
I did get one phone call, but I don't remember what it was about.
Ah. Right? Like people get phone calls all the time. People are busy. People have lives. 2 days later, a random phone call is not something that you're going to remember in the best of circumstances. Matthew, how far away are you from being a senior citizen?
About 35 years.
Right. Their lives are busy too. They're not just sitting around waiting for you to call them.
Right.
So yeah, like legitimately, they may not remember some of the stuff that's going on here. You can refresh their memory. If they're genuinely interested, they will remember and they will care. But if it's coming from a telemarketed lead, I don't know, those are, for me, the weakest leads that you can get right now. And there's all sorts of weird compliance stuff that's going on. And there's not a lot of good telemarketed lead vendors left. When the avatar leads became illegal, a lot of the better vendors kind of disappeared because it became way less profitable for them.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them switched to doing Facebook because that's where profit was.
Sure.
And so I'm not saying good telemarketing leads don't exist. They definitely do. It's just a different thing. You got to know what it is. And it's harder to find a good telemarketing lead vendor who is going to be compliant and who's not going to get you in trouble with do not call lists and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. And I'll say this, like what we're trying to get across is you can work any type of lead. You'll make sales on any type of lead. I've made sales on avatar leads. I've made sales on telemarketing leads. I've made sales on direct mail leads. Mm-hmm. I've made sales on age direct mail leads. I've made sales on cold door knocking. I've made sales on referrals. I've made sales accidentally walking down the street and like finding somebody. Like I've made sales all the way. When you're on the phone and you're setting an appointment, the language that you use is the most important, like how you set yourself up when you're calling back that client, because they don't remember. But when you say, Miss Jones, this is Nick, this is Matthew, you got a phone call the other day about these state regulated life insurance programs. You see how I said state regulated life insurance programs, like in like more of a bassy tone, because I want them to realize that's what I'm trying to get to them. And I want to know if they want it or not, because if they don't, I'm moving on to the next. Mm-hmm. And if they do, let's chat.
Right. It is a little bit of a numbers game. You don't want to waste time with people who are going to waste your time. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is, this is hard. Leads are cheap. All leads. There is not a lead out there right now that I'm aware of that is not really inexpensive, considering what we make to sell life insurance.
Right.
If you are spending $50 a lead, which is almost double what most leads that I know of cost. But if you're spending $50 a lead, it takes 2 final expense sales to make back your nut, to make back your lead cost. 2 mm-hmm. 2 $50 final expense sales, $50 a month sales at 100% commission. Okay. And then everything else you sell after that is profit. If you're getting 25 leads a week, shoot, if you can't sell 5 policies, and if they're all like $50 each, like $50 is low, but that's
Sure.
average, right? That's industry average is $50 a month, right?
I'd say it's like more like 56, but it's fine.
Okay,
Let's
but
call
yeah,
it 50.
let's call it
It's
low
50.
though. Like, say
Yeah.
it's 50, and so like, and if you're making a 100% contract, like you just pocketed $1,800,
Right.
and if it's a little bit more than that, you're making $2,000 profit. 52 weeks a year, that's $93,000 a year profit on an ungodly expensive lead. Leads are cheap.
Right.
Buy leads.
Even Dusty, who's a door knocking champion, says buy leads.
Right. It like and don't cheap out and buy bad leads. Your life will be easier if you spend a little bit more, and instead of buying a $6 lead that is going to get you in trouble with the law and could potentially get you sued and is going to get you a lot of people with dementia and is going to get you a lot of people who don't want to talk to you and get a lot of doors slammed in your face. And you probably have to spend $600 on $6 leads anyway to be able to get your numbers right. Buy fewer direct mail leads and things will work out the same way, and your life will be easier and you'll work less hard and you'll have more time to spend with your family.
Right.
Leads are cheap. It's hard when you don't have money, and I understand that. I remember. Yes. I do remember.
But what you did is like someone, let's say someone's like, all right, I'm all in. I'm going $600 for leads, and they get 25 leads. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they go make 5 sales.
Mm-hmm.
Up front, they're making what, $2,250
on
100%, whatever it comes out to
be.
That person, it's crazy to me. That person will go like do all the other things, but instead of like buying more leads, they'll go spend it somewhere else.
Right. So that's the other thing. You must buy leads every week. No exceptions. No exceptions. I buy leads when I'm on vacation. Mm-hmm. Every week. Especially if you don't have a fixed price program where they're going to be getting you leads in, they're giving you a guaranteed number of leads every week. Mm-hmm. Especially, if you're doing direct mail leads and you're doing drops per 1,000, or if you're doing Facebook campaigns, whether you're running it yourself or somebody else is running it for you, and you don't have a guarantee of how many leads are going to come in every week, you must buy leads every single week. If you're running Facebook, I guess don't buy leads on weeks that you're not working. But like any week that you're working, you must buy leads. It is your rent.
I would even say, I would even say even if you're not going to work that week on Facebook, like just drop your per day down.
Yeah.
But still get leads, because like all the time Facebook is learning for you.
Mm. Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, if you're running them yourself, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're buying them yourself.
But you got to treat your lead cost like it's your rent. In this job, selling final expense, you don't need to have an office. You don't need to have any office overhead. You don't need to pay rent. You don't need to pay electric or utility for your office space. You probably don't need to have a secretary or an administrative assistant of any sort. But you know what? If you were running a PNC shop, you would need all that stuff. Most people who run health insurance shops need all that stuff. If you were running any other business, if you went and decided to open up a hardware store, or you're going to open up a consulting firm or anything, you're going to need office space and rent. That's what leads are. You need to have some startup capital, and you need to invest in a little bit of your business overhead. Mm-hmm. And you have basically 2 choices. You can invest money, or you can invest time. You can go like Dusty did and spend $75 on a list and work that list all year long, and you will be working 60 to 80 hour weeks. And that's cool if that's cool with you. That's not cool with me. I don't want to work that hard. I'm a fundamentally lazy person. I have never wanted to work that hard. I've done it. I will do it if I have to. But man, part of the reason why I want to get off the phones and back into field sales is I run 2 days a week in the field. You know, like I don't want to be giving presentations, for 40 hours a week. Like
Right.
that's why I do this job. Um, so
Leads are great.
yeah, buy leads. Any other types of leads? I know you wanted to talk about live transfers. I don't know anything about live transfers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So with COVID-19, there's so many of these groups and these people that are like, telesales. And I hear people are like, hey, I'm doing these live transfers. And then the one agent goes, hey, what's a good company that like I can get a couple live transfers from like a couple times a week? I want to explain to you how live transfers work.
Okay.
In
order, I don't know. Treat me like I know
so,
nothing because I know.
Well, essentially, it's a telesales operation, but instead of them saying Nick is going to call you back, I've got Nick on the phone right now. Cool. Nick's going to call you. I mean, we're going to transfer you to Nick. Do you have time? Do you have a bank account? Do you have all these things? And it sounds like an awesome thing. Okay. It's a great lead.
Sure.
It works. The problem is if you're just trying it out, what you don't realize is the people that are like at the call center, they have to adjust the amount of people that are calling on a weekly basis. Like that person has to be hired full time to have the influx of leads. So if on Tuesday you decide that you don't want to go out and you want to get some live transfers, they can't just call that guy in because you're not going out.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Does it make sense? Like they have to have everybody there. And so when you're wanting to do live transfers, you have to commit to a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months to say, I'm willing to do live transfers. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
It's just like you can't expect the live transfers just to come because you're all of a sudden ready. When you say, hey, I want to do 20, let's say, I think the live transfer people are getting between 8 to 10 a day. Okay.
That's pretty good.
It's good. Yeah. And the thing is they talk to 10 a day and they'll close 2. Right?
It's not bad.
No.
20%? That's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's that on the sale on the phone, that's gangster. Okay.
Oh, that's super gangster.
Yeah. And those leads are costing. This is the crazy part. Those leads are costing. This is where you're gonna be like, no way. These leads are costing like $20 a pop. Okay.
Shoot.
So 20 times 8 is $160, right?
Sure.
You close 2, say an average of 100% commission rate, 75% advance, $450. So you'll make $900 for spending $160 a day, right?
Great. That's good money.
It's good money, right?
Yeah.
But then you have to do it every day, right?
Right.
4 to 5 days a week. And it's still going to be good money.
Right.
The problem is like if you think like, oh, I'll do 2 days of live transfers, like they can't schedule around you. They have to fill the seats. Like it's just like you have to be willing to do it for a month because the call center that's overseas or wherever they're doing it from has to fill that void for that amount of time.
Right. Well, and that's why the places like North Star, Ramiz Hakim, our guest of the show, Ramiz Hakim, why they have their agents come to work in an office and sit down and turn on their phone at 9 a.m. and turn off their phone to take a lunch break and then turn their phone back on and work till 5 every day. And it's, it is 35 hours of talk time, and like 10 hours of admin time and then 10 hours and then like 5 hours of like wasted,
I mean his whole thing is you're just talking.
Yeah.
He has a whole office that does the admin stuff and everything else.
Right. No, you're right. Like with that, you're probably right. It is just, I know that they have other time built in. I know that you work like a 40-hour work week at a North Star office, and like 35 hours or so of it is talk time. And then another 5 to 10 hours is whatever else.
Right.
Your own notes, your own paperwork, your own whatever.
Sure.
Mental breaks between phone calls. But I mean, that's a desk job, man. That's, it is a good job for certain people. But if you go back and look at the first one that we did with Ramiz, Matt asked him a question: why should somebody like Nick go work for North Star? To which Ramiz responded, I thought really perfectly, which is, why would someone like Nick want to get into telesales and do this? He's got a system that's working. Work the system that works.
Right.
It's just a different thing. Doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't make it work.
Yeah. I guess my main point on live transfers is they're a way of doing it. You can't just try it.
Right. It's a system.
It's like, you've got to be like, even if you do it for a minimum of a month, you got to be like, hey, I'm willing to throw $1,500 to $2,000 this month on live transfers.
I'm going to tell you, that's not that different from direct mail either.
It's not though.
You can't do one direct mail drop. You can't do 20 direct mail leads. You got to do 10,000.
Yeah, there was a guy in one of the Medicare groups that was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a big final expense drop. He's like, I can't remember his numbers, but he was like, I'm going to close. What did you say? I close like.
He was expecting to get a 3 to 4% return, which lead concepts apparently guarantees. I don't know if they guarantee it on their final expense. I don't know how they possibly guarantee a 3 to 4% return. I am fairly certain that it's the Walmart gift card lead. Sure. I don't know lead concepts well enough to say anything good or bad about them. I don't like the gift card leads personally, but I know people who love them. But he was expecting a 3 to 4% return, and he was going to close somewhere between 35 and 50% of his leads.
Right.
Of his leads.
Yeah, and you came in and you're like, hey, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but like look at like 1.3% and then closing 25%.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's realistic. Like really good agents close 25%. Most agents only close 20.
Right.
Like that's reality. Now, maybe you're a better than average agent. 25%, nothing to be ashamed of. 25%. 30%, you are a rock star. If you're closing more than 30%, you're writing over $300,000 a year, or you're only getting like 10 or 12 leads a week.
Right.
It's one of those two. So if you're not consistently writing over $300,000 a year in premium, I do not believe you if you tell me you're closing more than 30%.
Yeah. I believe that you're going to close 30% of the people you sit down with.
Oh, sure.
But not 30% of your leads.
Not of your total leads.
Doesn't work.
If you can.
It's crazy. Like I hated like algebra and stuff going in, like in school, but all final expenses is a big math equation.
It really is.
It's like the average final expense policy, the lead returns, the chargeback rates, all that stuff. So you can figure out in reverse engineer saying, I want to put up here, Ryan, $100,000 a year. If you know all those numbers, you can reverse engineer it and figure out exactly how many leads you need to buy, how many calls you need to make, how many door knocks you're going to have to, like all those things you can just figure out ahead of time. And then all you have to do is be like Nick, be lazy enough to go do it. Yeah.
I really hope Ryan was just covering your side of the screen with numbers during that whole time.
Like the lady that it's like looking all around.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that that's what was happening right there.
We'll see if he's paying attention.
Yeah, he's probably. I part of me hopes he's not. Man, he's got to have better stuff to do than listen to us. But he has nothing to do with the final expense or insurance world.
No.
So we are lucky that we've got him. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
But yeah, I hope that happens.
Yeah.
You got to know your numbers. Like it's really important to know your numbers for a lot of reasons. Some of it's just sanity. Like it'll help keep you focused. Part of the hardest thing for me about doing the telesales right now is I don't really have a good understanding of what my numbers for telesales need to be to keep myself sane. And so
Right.
I have no real end point for when I can tell myself I can stop working.
Is most of it your own Facebook leads?
Most of it's my own Facebook leads.
10%.
Yeah. Well, yes. No, like that I get, but I don't know so like when I think that, like I'm thinking like how many, so for me in person, face to face, I know that if I get 25 leads
Mhm.
I know in about 2 hours of calling on a Saturday morning, I can set 10 appointments. That's me. I know that. I can like nails. If
Right.
I know if I set 10 appointments, I will give between 6 and 10 presentations by the end of the day Monday. Again,
Got it.
nails. I know that it'll happen.
Right.
If I can give between 6 and 10 presentations by the end of the day Monday, I know that I need to set another 4 to 5 appointments for Wednesday, and then I don't need to set any more appointments for the rest of the week. I'll be done. I know by the end of the day on Wednesday, I will have given all the presentations that I needed. And if I've given all those presentations that I've needed, I will have written somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 in premium. And that's good for me. I'm good. I can walk away and take Thursday and Friday off. I'm happy with that. That sort of thought process keeps me sane. But I don't know how to do that with telesales. I don't know how to be like, well, if I dial from X hour to X hour, I should give so many presentations. And if I give so many presentations during the course of a week, that'll get me to this number of sales. And I'm getting about a sale a day. But
I've been listening to some people that have done it for a while, and they work with us, and it's all about talk time.
Right.
I want to say it's like 5 hours of talk time a day.
All right, so I'm doing right. That's about what I'm doing. I'm putting in about 5 hours a day.
You're kind of hitting your numbers that you were before when you're in the field, right?
I am, yeah. But it's like I'm walking a tightrope without a net, is what it feels like. It's very stressful.
Sure, I get it. It's like it's a brand new thing for you.
Oh yeah, well it is. It is a brand new thing for me.
Well, I mean, it's like you're just getting into the industry all over again, and you're not sure how it's going to work. But if you did that for the next year, I guarantee you could.
I would know my numbers by then.
You could be more confident in everything what you're doing, but that's what we're trying to get across. Like, just know your numbers and be confident.
Mm-hmm.
But buy leads, buy them, buy them consistently every week. Don't. The other worst thing is like the agent that buys. All right, trying to pull this math up. Okay. This is the Achilles heel that most agents go through. They go spend $450 on Facebook leads. Right. That's an average. Let's call it 50 leads. Okay.
All right.
And they go, I got $450 and they make no sales.
Ouch.
They goose egg. It happens, believe it or not.
Sure.
Right.
Sucks.
I tell that agent, go buy more leads.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, go buy double.
Yeah.
Go buy $900 worth of leads. And they'll go, no, I'm going to call back through because I haven't got in touch with all those people.
Nope.
It's the worst.
That's
it's the
wrong.
worst because there's nothing worse than calling through a bad week of a bad batch of leads, right?
Right.
And calling through those people and going, I don't want to talk to these people anymore. I've called this number 4 times. It's the worst. So you made zero. I would buy $900 worth of leads, get 100 leads, right? And close 10.
Yep.
Okay. My total investment was $1,350. Right.
Yep.
And I'm going to close 10 of those new 100 leads. 10. That's it.
That's good. 10 sales a week is good by anybody's standards. And if you're closing 10, and let's say your average sale is $50, and your average commission is 100%. I mean, I'm hoping it's higher for most of you guys that are watching this. If you've been watching us this long, hopefully you've got better than 100% commissions. But it makes my math easy. You know,
you'll get paid like $4,000.
Yeah,
$3,700 or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know what the numbers are, but you're going to make more.
Oh, you'll make
more than your investment.
45. Yeah, you'll make $4,500 that week. Right. Off of a $900 lead spend. And that's just that week. Like, that's your 75% commission advance.
Right.
You know? I mean, like, hell, if you were as earned doing that, you know, it would only take a couple weeks of doing that before you were in the black.
Right.
I mean, it's just really important to buy. It's really important to buy leads
every week. And I trust me, the people that are watching this are like, it's tough for me because it's my last $3,000, Nick.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Right?
I get it.
Been there. I get it. But I'm telling you, the shadow of a doubt, drop $450, $500 a week for 6 weeks.
I've told this story before. When I left the company that I was captive to, and I was a top producer for them. I made their convention trips. I was giving speeches at their like agent rah-rah meetings, and like I was a top producer for them. I was so broke that when I finally decided I needed to leave, because they offered to promote me, but I had to move to a different state to take the promotion. And even then, like it was a weird situation. I would have gotten a base salary. I'd have made $75,000 a year guaranteed. But glad I didn't do it. But I left, and I knew I needed to buy leads. I found the organization that I'm with still to this day. And they also preached from the beginning, buy leads every week. And I didn't have enough money to buy 3 meals worth of food every day. Right. I was so broke. Like, I did not have the money to buy leads. I borrowed money from family members to get me my first 3 weeks worth of lead drops. And saved up money during those 3 weeks to be able to buy another 3 weeks worth of lead drops. And got 6 weeks worth of lead drops paid for in advance. And by the time I got to the end of the 6th week, I was able to afford to pay for the 7th. And by the time I got to the end of my first year, I was able to pay back the money that I'd borrowed. And, onward and upward. I get it. It's scary. I do. Like, I'm telling you. Like,
but the common denominator here is, and I keep telling people, I have the unfortunate process, like, thing of like dealing with people like you all the time. The common denominator, people like you and other people that we've interviewed, is like they knew they could do it. You had the confidence.
If you're watching this video, you can do this.
Right.
Like, if you have the interest that you just sat through 45 minutes of Matt and I talking nonsense about leads, like, and basically saying the same thing over and over again for 45 minutes. If you have that much interest in this subject, damn it, you can do this.
And it's not even me and Nick telling you. It is the people that mentored us, that mentored them, and the other hundreds and thousands of agents that we have talked to that all know that you can do this.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, like, if somebody wants this, I can make them, like, you could make them great. I can make them great. If they want it and they have the willingness, I'll make somebody great.
There is such a proven path to success.
Yes.
Like, I'm not making any of what I'm saying here up. Like, none of this is original Nick Frumkin content.
That's right.
None of what you're saying is original Matthew Murray content.
Except for the carnival idea. That was
good. No, that was good. I like that. But, like, I mean, for the most part, we're maybe rephrasing things that other people have said.
Sure.
But insurance sales has not changed dramatically since, like, the 1920s. Like, really? Like, there's not been a lot of innovation in the insurance sales game for like 100 years.
Right.
People are still, for the most part, selling insurance, especially final expense insurance, basically the same way people were selling final expense insurance 100 years ago. And the reason is because it works. There has not been a better method yet. Nobody's come up with it. It is the single most successful method of selling this, and it is pretty provable and repeatable and teachable. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to find somebody who can teach you what the path looks like. And There are a lot of these people out there.
I'll give you a perfect example. I love my younger brother. He's sitting right behind me. He's probably going to start looking at me when I start saying this.
Yeah.
that he came to me and he was like, Matt, I want to sell Final Expense. And I was like, it's going to be tough. You're going to get your ass kicked, but let's go for it. And then he's like out and about one day and he goes, you know what I'm thinking about, Matt? There's like yellow signs that you like put in the ground. Like I was going to say like, buy some insurance now. Like, you think anybody's going to buy it? I'm like, no, like go
Don't do that.
get to the people that filled out leads. Like, this is how we've been doing it for a long time. And this is how it's going to work. And he's like, yeah, but I think it's a good idea. I'm like, someone else has thought about it. They tried it. It failed. Go do the thing. I told you to.
Right.
And then he went and made a sale. So it's just like,
right.
Those things work. We're rambling and we'll get off here in a second.
Yeah.
But I think Nick and I just got, I don't know, really deep on some stuff. And we're just trying to make sure people understand that this is an awesome business.
Yeah.
This is a sweet business. And like, if you want it, you can be successful. You're going to be successful. You just have to want it. You have to want to be better at something. Like, you got to try in order to get it. And like, if you, like you said, if you've been watching for 50 minutes, us ramble, you definitely want it. So go out and do it. You know?
I know. Yeah. This is, I'm really interested to see what the watch times on this are, because I feel like we've been repeating ourselves, but it's important enough that I feel like we really should just be repeating ourselves. It's been, 50 minutes of us just finding new ways to say, go buy leads, but go buy leads.
Yeah.
Go buy any leads, literally any leads. Spend about $600. Spend about $600 a week on any lead you like. If you spend about $600 a week on any type of lead, you will have about equivalent success.
Yes. Because the leads wouldn't be for sale if they didn't work for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You can make it work, but that's about what you should be budgeting. Spend
$600.
About $600. If you can afford to spend more, spend more. Don't spend more than about $900.
Yep.
Between $600 and $900 every week. Set it in your budget. Forget it. Spend it.
Well, Nick,
pay it first.
It's always been fun, my friend. I hope a lot of people watch this. I hope a lot of people get what we're trying to say to them, which is buy some freaking leads, go to work, make some money, have prosperity.
And we're not lead vendors, by the way. Like, we're not getting, we're not trying to sell you leads. Don't call us to buy leads. We don't sell them.
Don't have them.
Yeah.
Just go buy them. Go buy them, make some money. That's what we want for you guys. That's why we make this stuff, to help people to have clarity in the marketplace, to just talk about final expense insurance, because we're final expense nuts. We find it fun.
Yeah.
And we want to help other people. So, Nick, you're awesome.
You're awesome too, Matt.
I appreciate it. Guys, have a good one. Talk to you soon.
See ya.